If you've been to any home improvement store, you've probably seen these Tomcat bait stations for getting rid of mice. Do they work? Can you eliminate an infestation? Let's jump in and see how they work and what you can do. How do they work? You can see in here, you've got your rodenticide, and what that is a block of bait that will attract mice in to feed, and when they eat it, they'll get a lethal dose and they will go off and die. You can see it's got a little entry point here where they'll go in and feed. It's locked down, so it is safe to be around pets and children as you cannot access it, and nothing dies in here. So you essentially want to find where the mice are, set it up in a spot where you know that they're going to be comfortable going in and feeding, and then let them get at the bait. So let's talk about what works really well with these when you purchase them. One, extremely easy to use. You basically get them, they're all set up, and you just place them in the area. Two is you have a translucent top, so it's very easy to see the bait. You don't actually have to touch it. You can look and see how much feeding is happening and when the bait runs out. And it also comes pre-labeled with all of the legal requirements there, so you know what the active ingredients are. Let's jump into a couple of the caveats when you're using a Tomcat station versus something like a professional one. One is these are locked down and they're one-time use. So as soon as these are done, you need to purchase a whole new station, and that can get pretty expensive when you're replacing the entire thing instead of just refilling the bait. Two is you only have a single entry for the mice, and it's in the middle. Mice love to travel around perimeters, so having an option where, like these professional ones, where you have two ways to get in and you can put it right up along a run, increases the potential that they're going to be in there. We also like to use a dark lid versus a clear lid. Although it's easy to see the bait feeding, it may not make it that comfortable for a mouse to feed. They like tight, small, dark spots. It makes them feel comfortable, so they're a lot more likely to be feed in here versus something that has light and they may feel exposed. The other challenge with these is you only have a single block of bait. So you're only going to be able to kill a number of mice before having to add more. And it makes it a little bit challenging to get into the areas where they're nesting, like attics and walls, because you would need so many of these and can have to continue replenishing them. So let's jump in next to a comparison of the side-by-side. So let's just do a quick comparison to a professional bait station with professional rodenticide versus the Tomcat bait station. One, which we already talked about, 2 entry points at the back versus a single entry point in the front. 2, dark lid makes it comfortable for them to feed. Open lid may not make them as comfortable. The other challenge is it's just a one-time use. So as soon as that's done, you need to dispose of it. In Ontario, you cannot purchase loose bait to refill, so you do have to do it this way. When you are a licensed professional, you can get one of these bait stations that you can continue to refill. Another thing that is very common dealing with mice is palatability and resistance. So with this, it's great, the bait's preloaded. However, if the mice don't like it, you do not have the optionality to switch out to either a different textured bait or a different attractant or a different active ingredient. You can see here, there with the professional ones, there's different styles of block baits. There's a number of different soft baits that you can use, and there's different active ingredients and different attractants. So if you're having a bit of resistance when dealing with them, you have a lot more optionality of what you can use. You can also have an adequate amount of bait in these stations, especially on the difference in potency for commercial versus residential or domestic. So you have a lot faster of a knockdown. So now that we've gone over the domestic Tomcat bait station, let's just do a quick overview of what a professional mouse bait station is like. So you can see it's labeled properly, 2 holes on the back, fits in very nice along any sort of run or in corners. It is locked down with a lock and key, so a licensed pest control technician can come in, open it up, check and refill the bait station. So you can continue using the same bait station as long as you like and just refill the bait. So it ends up being a lot more economical. You can also see on the inside, they can come in, they have a little pathway, and they have access to a lot more bait. It has 2 blocks opposed to the 1, and it has a lot more of an actual spot where they can feel comfortable, think about the bait, and feed in that environment. And of course, when you're looking at the actual rodenticide itself, the commercial grade rodenticide will be a lot more potent and have better attractants than what you can get over the shelf domestically. And again, if you run into challenges where mice are not going to the bait or they have some form of resistance to the active ingredient, there's tons of optionality that you can swap out and continue to use the same station. So, in short, there's a lot of advantages to using a professional grade station versus the domestic Tomcat ones. But with that being said, if you have an isolated incident where they are not nesting and there's not an established infestation and you suspect maybe there's only a handful of mice, this can do the trick and can be very useful. Note of caution, if you're using it and all of the bait is eaten and it continues to get eaten, now you know you're dealing with a larger infestation or a resistance and you may need to consider professional pest control. So what we talked about today was the Tomcat bait station, how it works, when you can use it, how it can work, what the rodenticide is like. We also compared it to the professional station, the different rodenticides, along with challenges that you can run into and economical cost challenges that you can happen when you're dealing with just the domestic one. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'd be happy to help out.